In this video, I would like to talk about the biggest problem somebody interested in GURPS might face. Where do you find players? It's an important topic, and I won't even provide a definitive answer, but I'd like to talk about the options. So you have read the GURPS basic set and want to play. The first and probably the best option is to play with your friends. If they're familiar with tabletop RPGs, then they probably will be willing to at least give it a try. Or not. If they are not familiar with tabletop RPGs, then it's both a boon and a bane. On one hand, they would have an open mind without any preconceived notions from other systems. On the other hand, not everyone is interested in tabletop RPGs. It's a very niche interest. And all people are different. That's absolutely fine and shouldn't surprise you. Another option is purely theoretical for me. Find a local game store. I live in a place where the tabletop RPG hobby doesn't really exist, and we had a game store in the city, but they only played MTG there, and they went out of business due to COVID. Oh well, maybe things are better wherever you live. If you do not mind playing via VTT online or play by post, then you can try finding a game online. As always, there are many options. First of all, let's check SJ Games forums. They have two subforums, Play by Post and Game Finder. They do not seem to be bustling with activity, but at least it's something. I know that Discord servers are all the rage nowadays, and I admit that in some ways they are more convenient, but I still miss the times when the forums were dominating the internet. Speaking of Discord, you might want to check out the GURPS Discord. Despite getting to know some of the players in my current group through this server, I will say that from my experience, this is the worst place to actually discuss all things GURPS. It's your stereotypical Discord server. If you ever ask a question there, I strongly recommend you take whatever advice or answers you get there with a grain of salt. And if you disagree or argue, you get banned. If you tell somebody, for example, to read the jumper advantage before asking how the jumper advantage works, you get yelled at by the mods and possibly get banned. It all creates a community where barely anybody reads the books and everyone expects being spoon-fed, which is a very bad habit, especially for GURPS, as it is a system where so much depends on the context, group and system knowledge. There has been many times when I read ridiculous questions and horrendous advice, and all I could do is shake my head. I left that place a long time ago for a good reason. But my bitching aside, if I recall things correctly, there was a looking for GM channel and looking for players channel, so you may post about your game there and invite players. Alternatively, you can try the GURPS subreddit. I have never checked it out. Since it's Reddit, my default assumption is that it operates in the same way Discord does, but who knows, I may be wrong. You could try finding a game on 4chan too, but I heard some bad things about their Game Finder threads. So finding a group is actually difficult, especially if you want a good group. I found my own group in what I think is the perfect way. I played a lot of Dominions 4 multiplayer on 4chan, and eventually I became friends with some of the players, and we started playing tabletop RPGs online. The group is about 10 years old already. Some people have left, some people joined. The new ones are either from 4chan or from the GURPS Discord server. Well, I actually also play and run play-by-post games on the side with another group, so I am a two-timer. But the most important part, in my opinion, is that you have to gatekeep. And I don't mean gatekeep the hobby, but gatekeep your group. Before letting anyone join, just talk to the person. Ask how much experience with GURPS they've got, if any, with any other tabletop RPGs, what kind of a game they are expecting, etc. You should be on the same page with regards to that. I had my share of absolute weirdos from Discord that I had to filter, but the ones that didn't get filtered were amazing players. Hell, in the game I'm currently running, 2 of the 4 players are absolutely new to GURPS, but they were enthusiastic and reasonable, so I helped them with everything. I do not regret it, they are excellent players. Generally speaking, everything in this world requires you to put some effort, including your hobbies. If you see that a person doesn't want to even read the rulebook, but still wants to participate, do you really want to have him in a group? I wouldn't even call it gatekeeping, I think that's called having standards. I put in a lot of time and effort into my hobby. It's one of my passions, and I expect my players to respect that. In return, I respect their participation and input. With all this you have to be on the same page talk, you probably think that my group is full of grognard stereotypes, but you'd be wrong if you thought that. My group is surprisingly diverse in terms of nationalities, opinions and age, and that doesn't prevent us from having a good time, because we have something in common. We love GURPS, we are adults, and we respect each other. A lot of my content is the way it is thanks to my group. I appreciate it when a person can say, "Eggplant, this crap you wrote is dumb, and so are you, and this is why." We have a discussion, and if the other person indeed has a point, I concede and change it. If I had to make an analogy, you have to find your group in the same way you date. You don't look for some skanky girl in a skimpy outfit to hook up with, you look for a potential spouse. Anyway, I'm not trying to demoralize you, but I'm actually trying to encourage you. If you want to find a group, go find it. It probably will require some time and effort, but in the end, it will be a rewarding experience, possibly for many years to come. I think that despite the fact that I just took a verbal dump on the GURPS Discord, it might be the best place to look for a game. Just remember to filter out weirdos and people that simply do not fit your group. Have some standards. But anyway, do you know any other places you can find a group in? For example, some GURPS IRC channel or GURPS Usenet group? If you do, feel free to share in the comments, or maybe some forum or whatever. The options will probably be helpful to other players. So thank you for watching and I will see you next time.